call to order the regular board meeting for November 12th at 4:32. Roll call. Trustee Grist?
Aye.
Trustee-
Present.
Trustee Marks will be here shortly. Trustee Martinez?
Here.
Trustee O'Connor?
Here.
I am here. And is there a motion to go to close?
So moved. And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Going to closed at 4:33. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call back to order the regular board meeting of the Hollister School District. We are now in session at 6:03, and this meeting is being recorded. Please join me in the flag salute. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have item number 7, community and student staff recognition with Principal Sylvia Solis.
All right. Good evening, President Tosi, Superintendent Ward, and members of the board. As you said, I'm Sylvia Solis. I'm the principal for Hollister Dual Language Academy. And with me today is Assistant Principal Vicky Valadez. Today we are here to recognize HDLA Associated Student Body, ASB, for their commitment and service to our school. Over the years, ASB has given our students hands-on experience in leadership roles, teaching them to organize events, delegate tasks, and work collaboratively to achieve common goals. Through school-wide events, rallies, spirit days, and initiatives, ASB bridges connection between our younger students and the middle school learners while enhancing our school culture. Students in ASB learn the importance of meeting deadlines, fulfilling responsibilities, and managing projects from start to finish. This accountability helps them grow personally and academically. ASB serves as a platform for students to voice their ideas, concerns, and suggestions, ensuring that students have a say in school decisions and initiatives. This advocacy helps ASB represent the diverse needs and interests of our HDLA community. ASB often leads service-oriented projects while instills a sense of empathy, social responsibility, and commitment to giving back even at a young age. To our incredible ASB leaders, we want to extend a huge thank you for all the hard work, creativity, and dedication you pour into making our school a better place every day. Your efforts are truly seen and appreciated. From organizing events that bring us all together to finding ways to lift up every voice, your impact does not go unnoticed. Each one of you plays a crucial role in creating a school environment filled with spirit, support, and positivity. We are so grateful for the energy and passion you bring to ASB and to the difference you make in our community. Keep shining bright. We see you, we value you, and we appreciate you every day. Thank you for being the leaders our school needs and for inspiring us all. Cada uno de ustedes juega un papel crucial en crear un ambiente escolar lleno de espíritu, apoyo y positividad. Estamos muy agradecidos por la energía y pasión que aportan a ASB y por la diferencia que hacen en nuestra comunidad. Sigan brillando, chicos. Los vemos, los valoramos y los apreciamos cada día. Gracias por ser los líderes que nuestra escuela necesita y por inspirarnos a todos. Vamos, Jaguares, con ganas. And as a little token of our appreciation, we would like to call the students to give them an award and a little gift.
And then we'll have the board stand up.
This certificate of appreciation is an appreciation for your commitment and service to the Hollister Dual Language Academy Associated Student Body. Your contributions help foster a positive school community, build school spirit, and enhance the experience of all students. We are grateful for you, for your dedication and partnership in creating an environment where everyone can thrive. This certificate of appreciation is for Natalia Aban. Ariana Aguilera. Aliyah Amezcua. Genesis Apolonio. Gisela Arias. Dasid Bencomo. Kaya Chavez. Mia Cortez. Itzayana Cortez. Natalie Yip. Marcus Fernandez. Mila Galvan. Alondra Garcia. Mia González Funes. Maya Iniguez. Flor Juárez. Adeline Lerma. Evelette McDonald. Valeria Manso. Vanessa Manso. Armando Medina. Raymond Montoya. Kai Mora. Audrina Munguia. Gael Orozco. Jimena Orozco Witron. Isabela Rivera. Trent Sanchez. Andrea Torres. Naomi Vasquez. Gianna Vizcarra. And Fox Westfall. We appreciate you every day. Thank you.
And then I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Lerba for his leadership with and support of all the students.
Okay, item 8, closed session announcements. There are no closed session announcements. And item 9, approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Grist?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
I'm an aye, passes 5-0. Public comments. Any public comments?
We have none.
Hmm? Okay, item 11, reports. 11A, extended learning report by Coordinator Jill Cameron.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees and Interim Superintendent. Good board. I have a few colleagues that I've brought along with me to help out with our presentation tonight regarding the after-school interventions. So we'll be reviewing our school sites, what they are doing currently and preparing for on their sites. Mission Achieve for our English learners, our extended learning program, and our migrant education. So I have with me, I have Mrs. Stacy Benura, who's going to be going over site interventions. Mrs. Jennifer Miller will be going over Mission Achieve, and then I will round it out with extended learning opportunities and migrant ed. I'll hand this over to Ms. Benura.
All right, good evening. So for school site interventions, it's around our community schools, and we have 2 of them that are actively pursuing after-school interventions of some sort. The first site is Sunny Slope, that they've hired 6 teachers. They'll be, they're in the process still of planning it out, but they anticipate on starting December 2nd. And it'll go for 20 weeks. They want to get through like kind of the first semester and see how it goes and then adjust for the second semester. 3 times a week at 1-hour sessions. So we're looking forward to having that enrichment program happening at Sunny Slope. And the next one is already in progress at Mays. They just recently started a homework club. It happens after school. All is welcome to attend. It's for 1 hour in the library. 2 teachers are present. They're open to tutoring, any hands-on help with homework and such. They have a rotation, so every week they alternate teachers that have signed up to participate and be there for the students after school. It's held in the library, same concept. They're going to work through the first semester, see how it goes, and adjust working into the second semester. All right.
All right, and my program is Mission Achieve. Sorry, I always have to hold the microphone because it's so too low. My program is Mission Achieve, and I always tell our students, you are the ones that are destined for greatness. So this is a special program for multilingual learners. There are students that are close to reclassification. There also are students that don't always get that additional support in the classroom or that additional attention. So this program is specifically designed to give them that extra time, that extra support to achieve reclassification. So that's what they are working in. So our program goes from September 16th to March 28th. It's a 21-week program, 3 times a week for 1 hour and 40 minutes a spot. They do about 1 hour of Mission Achieve that, from the EL Achieve program. Systematic ELD is the curriculum that they're using, and then after that they'll do science or infuse other curriculum into that. There are 7 teachers and 3 instructional aides that are part of that program, and it's taking place at Calaveras and AAA this year, so AAA students are included, Sarah Vista, Hollister Dual Language Academy, Lad Lane, and R.O. Harbin. Thank you. I'm going to put this back. So we're looking at the after-school program, just to remind us how we prioritize and the students who are eligible for the program. We look at 4 criteria points. We look at homelessness, foster youth, English learners, and economically disadvantaged. So our sites that the YMCA currently oversee is we have Lad Lane, and you can see our current numbers, which ebb and flow. This was taken last week, but they do ebb and flow with students who don't want to be part of the program anymore, and then we are working at full capacity, but as soon as kids drop, we do call out and see if other ones can take their place. So we have Lad Lane, We have Sierra Vista, Rancho San Justo, and Rancho Santana under the YMCA. And then we have Youth Alliance, also known as CASA, and they have Calaveras AAA, HCLA, Mays, Oro Hardin, and Sunny Slope. And then we do have, I put in our cube grand openings that we're going to be having in January.
How many children do you, I can't read that, so how
Oh,
many
sorry.
children, it's not your fault, I can't read it. How many children are we servicing at this school?
So I don't have a grand total, but we're looking at, so we have Lad Lane, we had 107 the last time I checked. We had Sierra Vista at 100, Rancho San Justo at 86, Rancho Santana at 95. And then we had Cal and AAA at 118. Then we had HDLA at 80, Mays at 41, RO Hardin at 95, and Sunny Slope at 80. So you can see sometimes our middle schools, we do struggle trying to keep our middle school students after school. So I do see that as a challenge, and I've heard in the past that it's been a little bit challenge too, so you try and offer extra incentives for them to stay in different offerings. Which leads me into their daily schedule at both of the programs. They do have time for homework assistance. They have snacks that are provided by our nutrition department. They have outdoor games, and then we have enrichment time. So we have currently contracted with Porsche Academy, and Stacy, Ms. Ventura helped me, and we looked at these different programs that we landed on where they come in and do BEATS, which is technology-based musical mediums. It's even hard for me to read from here. And there's 4-week sessions, so they rotate through, and they hit all of our schools. We have Rhythm Bot, which is coding to create robot movements. And then they also have the Vortex Reality, which is technology meets the wonders of virtual reality. So they visit different areas of the world and look at the history. So they have some very interesting offerings, and I think these were somewhat new to the students this year. Migrant education, good timing on our report because this week we are starting training with our teachers. So very exciting, a little nervous too at the same time because this is something new for our students and our teachers. So we have Scratch Junior, which is for our kindergartners through 1st grade. We have Scratch, which is 2nd to 5th grade. And we changed, we were going to be doing Bootstrap Algebra with our 6th and 8th graders. We've changed it to SNAP. So all 3 of those are coding. The Bootstrap Algebra was going to be a little bit different, but we changed that because of the commitment of having more consistency of the students coming. So we thought maybe that might be a better offering in the summer. So might loop back around to that. So starting this week, we have trainings on Thursday and another one on Saturday and another follow-up next Thursday. So with the lower grades, our kinder through 5th grade, trying to train all those teachers so they can be more flexible on the groupings that we get. So liaisons, we just spoke to them today. They're going to start reaching out to the parents, talking to them about the coding opportunities. If students are currently in other programs, we're trying not to disrupt the mission achieve part. We want them to stay in the language support. But if they're already attending our after-school programs or extended, they can be pulled out of there and go back and forth between the programs.
And so how many children do we have in migrant?
So we have between 550 and 600.
That are enrolled in this after school?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, just
Yeah.
overall in the district. So
No,
they're gonna start reaching out.
Oh, okay, so we
Yeah.
don't have a number yet.
We
right?
don't have any numbers yet, no, because we're gonna start reaching out, letting the parents know that this is going to be an offering. It's gonna be twice a week, 1-hour sessions, and hopefully they'll wanna stay after, and maybe this will kind of catch on once our teachers, I feel, once they get trained and understand them a little bit better, I'm hoping that they'll start to talk to the kids too in the schools and get them to come after school. But all 3 of the coding is all block coding, web-based program. So we'll see. I'll report back more once we get going. Any questions?
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's better. If my math is right, I came up with 792.
For the extended learning.
Does that sound right?
It sounds about, again, it ebbs and flows a little bit as students drop off and we reach back out.
It's
and see if
incredible.
more people come.
It's just truly incredible that we have so many children that are getting that help and doing fun things. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, and then once you add up all, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, once you add up all the other programs, I mean, we're hopefully servicing even, over maybe 1,000 kids by the time you add
Yeah,
everybody up.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there are any reclassification ceremonies, I'd love an invite. It's just so important.
Well, we probably should do them here.
Please invite, please invite. You know.
It would be great to do it at board meetings.
The reclassification
Mhm.
ceremony, so
Yep.
it would be big. We've reclassified many students this year, and we're looking at another 200 this year.
Oh, my
as well,
goodness.
so-
Don't think it'll be here, Jamie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the school sites are in charge of the reclassification.
Right.
Wow. Well,
That
if we
sounds
could
great.
be invited, that would be wonderful.
Thank you very much. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Good to see everything.
Yeah.
Okay, item 12, superintendent's report, interim superintendent Kip Ward.
Okay, good evening, Board of Trustees and members of the community and cabinet. Thank you for being here tonight. It's my pleasure to give my superintendent's report for the November board meeting. As always, I'd like to start off with our slide that you see over and over, and that's to take a brief snapshot, at our enrollment. As of November 7th, we were at 5,935 students, which, as we know, is growing and moving forward. The site totals are there. Those have all changed a slight bit since the last meeting. And then, of course, we're continually encouraged with the ADA. As of November 7th, it was 95.1. So, we're very, very encouraged by that. And that just speaks to our teachers and our staff and our
Yes.
administrators creating an environment
And
where
our
the students want to be, and the parents. Yep, coming together and making sure we get the kids in school. So we are encouraged by that number. And then when we talk about our teachers and our staff and our administrators and our parents creating an environment where we want to be and where our kids want to be, I'd like to spend a few minutes here to talk about the November 1st Professional Development Day that took place while all the kiddos were home after Halloween and recovering from a night of trick-or-treating. Our staff was hard at work at Margaret Mays Middle School. We had hundreds of staff members present, and I wanted to first acknowledge Dr. Colleen Myers and her educational services team for organizing that. It was a well-done event, and you're probably wondering why we're looking at a picture there of Mr. Ted Lasso and team. And if you notice, we even have a cutout in the back of the room over there. You know how it is in education. We like acronyms and we like themes, right? We do. So the theme that was selected for this was Ted Lasso, and I've only seen a couple episodes, but I really did appreciate the few episodes that I watched. He is a soccer coach. He's an American. He goes overseas to be a soccer coach. He doesn't even know what he's doing. But the premise of it is what I believe in, and I know that our whole team believes in, is the idea of optimism, the idea of support, of compassion, of connection. If you watch that show, that's what it's all about. So we chose that theme because that's what we believe, and that's right in line with whether it's our district initiative for Capturing Kids' Hearts, whether it's which we call CKH, we like the acronyms, PBIS, right, the Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports. All of those pieces fit together into what we see as a district, the most important thing that we can provide for students on day 1 and day 182 is an environment where they're loved, cared for, supported, directed, and that's why you see our attendance rising and coming back to normal, because that's what our staff is doing on every day. When you go visit our classrooms, that's what's being shared with our students on our classrooms, on our yards, with our yard duty supervisors, our teachers, etc. So that was the theme of the professional development, was Mr. Ted Lasso. So if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. And then I will direct everybody's attention to the sign above the door back there that says "Believe." If you watched the show, that was his thing. He had the Believe sign and encouraging the team, and in our case, the team. It's our students, it's our staff, it's everybody, to believe in each other and support each other. And for me, as an interim superintendent or a deputy superintendent, or when I was a principal or a teacher, that is truly what I believe the most important thing that we can do for our students is believe in them, care for them, guide them, and then once we do all that, the teaching and the educating comes much easier when we create that environment. And that's what we're about in the Hollister School District. So I was in support of this process, even though for Halloween they did have me dress up like Ted Lasso.
They did?
They did.
Are
Yeah.
there any pictures?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I quite pulled it off, but it was fun. Yeah. So the next section, so we had the full staff there in the Maze Gym on November 1st. And the morning session was around courage, connection, and compassion, which is in line with Ted Lasso. It's in line with Capturing Kids' Hearts and PBIS. These are some of the things that staff learned. They talked about the science and research behind developing a workplace culture of belonging. They left with some ready-to-use strategies from the morning training. And then basically the discussion was around why showing up with intentionality for our students and for each other, not just for our students, but for our entire school community, why that creates the environments that we want in the Hollister School District. So that was the morning section. Then we jumped to the afternoon section. And again, here's another acronym, our PD, our professional development topics for that day. And there were breakout groups. And again, it was so expertly organized by the Ed Services Department. It went from curriculum mapping for gen ed teachers to the IEP, the individual education plan, goal development, progress monitoring for special ed teachers, professionalism, collaboration, etc. for our paraeducators and instructional assistants. So you can see there was a varying degree of different trainings in the breakout groups. And then our school psychologists went through some legal updates, which is important for their profession. And then for our SLPs, they talked about a new training. It's a new assessment for TK students. So we had our morning together, and then everybody dispersed to different rooms to partake in some specific professional development. And we're very grateful for that. And then here's the fun pictures that I wanted to share. Each team came up at Maze and received an award, and we were able to get team photos. So here's Sunny Slope was our first one, and then we move on to Aro Hardin, big happy group there from Aro Hardin. And then we have Rancho Santana, and then moving right through to Rancho San Justo, bunch of smiles and happy people. Maze Middle School, go Hawks. That was I taught there many years ago. Yeah, and there's a lot of they had the Ted Lasso theme there. They were wearing the mustaches like Ted Lasso, so a lot of them were all in. Then over to Lad Lane, we have the Leopards in the house doing a great job, and then we have AAA, small but mighty. Okay, they're with Mr. Woods, and then Mr. Woods, of course, with Calaveras as well. Sarah Vista, the Sharks, we're all there. And we, last but never least, is the folks we had in the house tonight was HDLA. And I just wanted to share all of those photos with the board and with the community to show what great people we have and what great team spirit we have and how valuable it is to bring folks together to work on our craft and to work on the camaraderie of what we have at each individual school. They all have their own personalities. Like I've always said, we have, in the Hollister School District, there's 10 planets, right? There's 10 planets. And they all have unique and impressive energies about them, and they're all different, and I appreciate each and every one of them. So I wanted to acknowledge publicly for the board and for the community the hard work that our staff puts in every day in the classroom, but then on a professional development day, they're there learning and soaking it up and asking questions and engaging. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, and just to say, we have a few teachers in the house tonight, just to say thank you for all the hard work and much appreciated for all of our 10 planets. I'm grateful to be a part, just a small part of the team. So, thank you.
Okay, item 13, consent items. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve 13A through L.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Gris?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. I'm an aye, passes 5-0. Okay, item 14, approval of board meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes for October 22nd, 2024.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Grist?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez? Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
I'm an aye, passes 5-0. Okay, item 15, discussion action items. 15A, discussion and approval of board policy and administrative regulations updates. Thank you, Beth Wilson.
Thank you, board members. The list tonight is light because we're working on first interim. So we bundled together a series of board bylaws from June and September. So at this point, we're up to date on all of our board bylaws.
Oh, that's good.
Till the next quarter comes out.
How did we do that?
Oh, it was a great team and a lot of hard work.
Yeah, a lot of reading. Before we make a motion to approve, I just want to state that we have some new language in public statements and statements made by individual members. And when we get our new board member, we should make sure that they read that part. Very good. So I'll make a motion that we accept, shoot, I'm on the wrong page. What are they called? We'll accept the approval of board policy and administrative regulation updates.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Grist?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
I'm an aye, passes 5-0. 15B, discussion and approval of the monthly financial report.
So after doing this for about 2.5 years now, we are going to dispense with the way too small for anybody to read on the screen. Because all the board members have either a copy on your device
I
or
brought it.
in paper.
Yes.
So it was just an exercise in futility, nobody could read it, which is why I have my device as well. So what we have before you tonight is our unrestricted and restricted financial statements through October 31st, 2024. And if you go to the second page of the attachment, you can see our income and expenses unrestricted. And at this point, we have started to make some adjustments as we cruise into first interim. You never want to wait until the last minute if you know that there's some adjustments that need to be made right now. And so in the unrestricted side, we've made some very small adjustments to revenue. Mostly those adjustments have to do with the LCAP and bringing that one up to date. That one is a bit of a beast, and so I'm not saving it for last. We're going to make sure we got that in there. There are going to be LCAP meetings that are going to be starting pretty quickly, and Dr. Myers has already started to put together her presentation. So supporting that whole process, we got the current year's LCAP all synced up into the budget for all of our people and the benefits and everything that's attached to them.
And I'm sorry, I did want to interject that this attachment is available online.
It is available
Yes.
online.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I
Mhm.
forgot to mention that. Going through or looking at the revenue will be a little bit slow coming in. So as you're looking at revenue where it says, for instance, on revenue limit sources or our local control funding formula, we've only received approximately 14% to date. That's just a function of the state, and they will eventually catch up with that. That doesn't come on a regular, notable divide by 12 kind of a basis. They'll do an adjustment, as we go through the year. But in certificated and classified salaries and benefits, you'll see that we are 28% expended. That's about where you want to be in the third solid month of school. Now, it's the fourth month of the fiscal year, but most of the expenses happen August through October. So I think that we're on pace there, as well as books and supplies. Our services, we pay for services up front a lot of times in order to have contracts that we can access throughout the year, and so that will not, flow in that even standing. Also, we made our budgeted transfers for transfers out according to the budget, and those are transfers that are going out to facility funds and contributions to restricted programs, primarily special ed and routine restricted maintenance. So they're in the budget. We went ahead and moved that cash. We don't have to worry about it until we get to year-end closing, and then we'll balance out those contributions as necessary. Working the next page down, it's our balance sheet. This is one of those sections that will get cleaned up as we move into first interim. A lot of things have either been received or paid from the year-end accruals and will, be working its way through. We're now halfway through November, and these numbers have changed quite a bit, even from the time of pulling this report. But if you go to the 5th page of the report, that's the fund balance. That's the one that we're watching. How are we doing? So we have a budgeted revenue of $71 million with budgeted expenses of $55.5 million, which is a surplus of $15.8 million, and $17 million of that $15.8 is going to go out to other financing sources, contributions to restricted programs. We started out the year with $9.4 million in fund balance, and based on this budget, we will probably end the year, save anything else to change, with $7.7 million. Now, moving back up to that net change in that deficit spending of $1.7 million. We've had this conversation a couple of times, but this is a perfect time to just kind of refresh on it. Our LCAP, our Supplemental and Concentration Grant Funding, which is generated by our unduplicated pupil count, low income, foster youth, oh my gosh, English language learners, and low income. That's the audience participation in the meeting. Thank you very much.
That's because we have a smart audience.
So it's generated by that unduplicated pupil count to be spent on that unduplicated pupil count. But our unduplicated pupil percentage, which is really how we're funded, is a 3-year average, the current year and the past 2 years, and that's been going down and has hit the bottom and is starting to work its way up. But on a 3-year average, we don't see that increase right away. So we knew that we were going to be deficit spending in order to have a continuance and a stable program that we're offering to our unduplicated pupil count. The LCAP funding is required to be reserved, its own fund balance reserved and not swept into the unrestricted general fund, and to only be used for those. So the money that we're spending here is the money that was generated by those students that will be spent on those students in order to equalize our program as we wait for our unduplicated pupil percentage to come up. So we are on track. It's a little bit higher in the deficit spending or the use of its fund balance than we had necessarily planned on at adoption, but step, column, and longevity do come into play here, and while we may know most of it, sometimes we will miss some things, and so that's what some of these are. So overall, I think our unrestricted general fund is looking about where I would expect it. And before I move on, are there any questions? Okay. So scrolling to page 7, you'll find the restricted side of our budget. It's not nearly as large, but it spends a whole lot more money. And so the total income for the restricted programs of Title I, or the ELOC program, or special ed, or routine restricted maintenance in Title II, Title III, Title IV, emergency learning recovery emergency block grant, to name a lot. That's this revenue and those expenditures that are tied to it. And there's been a lot more movement here for a couple of reasons. We have started to recognize what's called deferred revenue. We received it in a previous year, but we'll spend it in this year. You can only recognize it when you're actually going to spend it. So that's some of those increases in revenue. And our certificated and classified salaries, as we look at the programs and what we need, we'll start with an adoption budget and then we'll say, okay, no, let's do this. Now we need this. There have been a lot of changes in our special ed program this year, in our difficulty in hiring staff, and that is evidenced by the services going up by $2.2 million. There's also capital outlay. That is the ELOP program and their cubes. Weren't sure just how far they would have gotten at the end of last year. The ideal, if we can have everything we wanted, would have been that they would have been 95% done, but they weren't. So we didn't actually budget any expenditures, but it's already in that budget and it carries over. And so those budgets have been reestablished in order to complete that project. So those are the two larger chunks that are in those changes to expenditures. And you can see that we have transfers coming in and contributions to restricted programs. We talked about that earlier. It's the flip side of it, that's $17 million. Looking at percentages, we have pretty much the same kind of thing. We've got our 26% in salaries for both certificated and classified, and benefits are a little higher. We've made some payments for benefits for retirees. That'll be a chunk of it right there. So that happens on something other than that normal every month payroll is happening cycle. Our books and supplies are not at a third of the year, but we've also paid for our books and supplies out of unrestricted. So the bigger change here is what's happening in capital outlay and those services and the service contracts that we talked about. We still put in great effort in order to hire real people as opposed to contracted people. We get more longevity and a deeper understanding and commitment to the district where we can hire our own as opposed to contract. But our contractors are very good with our students. So it's a give and a take, but as soon as we can hire, we will reduce our contracts and we'll make changes in the salaries and benefit side as we reinstate some of those salaries and benefit budgets. Are there any questions on this one before I move on? So you see a balance sheet again. Those items will be cleared up as we go through for first interim. And moving on to page 9, which is the fund balance portion. This one is significantly different. $23 million worth of revenue, $50 million or so worth of expenditures, $17 million coming in and deficit spending of $9 million. Typically, deficit spending is a bad thing. It's a good thing when you planned on doing it, like with the LCAP. It's also a good thing when you're using categorical money that is designed and provided to the district for certain uses that carried over from a prior year, and now we're trying to spend them all on all of those uses, focusing those dollars on our students for this year in order to increase and improve services to them. So this is deficit spending, but it's money that was there at the beginning of the year. You can see if you go down one more line, $21 million carried over. A larger chunk, about a third of that, is from the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. We have 8 years to spend it. We are in year 2. So we have got a plan that will take us through those 8 years. Then we end up with an ending fund balance and categoricals of $12 million. This is at October. These are not the numbers that you will see at first interim when we come back in December, because we will have done a lot of changes in here. So we'll talk about that in December. Any questions on this one before I move on? Oh, there is no move on. That is the
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I make a motion that we approve the monthly financial report.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Gris?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? Aye. I'm an aye, passes 5-0. Okay, 15C. Discussion and approval of loan from Student Nutrition Program for Central Kitchen Project funding.
Very excited to bring this to you. We've been talking about this for over a year. Maybe not all of us, the board included, but a lot of us have been talking about it. And I'm really disappointed that Ms. Pennington isn't here because this is her love child and she is going to bring this as close to home as she possibly can. So the idea is that we will build a central kitchen where the bulk of our cooking will be done from scratch with locally sourced produce and other commodities as we can, and then taken out to school sites to be served to our students. Eventually even having a garden that we will actually grow some of our produce here and put that into our foods. If you ever get a chance, please come and visit her. She's back here and she actually does have a garden right now. The tomatoes are fabulous. There's nothing like a fresh tomato. So in order to build this central kitchen, we need funding. And one of the very first items that we identified was the ability to borrow money from the Food Nutritional Services Program in order to fund that, at least a portion of that kitchen. And so the rules are such that Student Nutritional Services cannot build a building. The district is responsible for building a building. They can fit it and outfit it and supply it as needed, but the building is a responsibility of the district. However, they can loan the district money to build the building as long as the district pays them back. So this loan that we're proposing to the board tonight actually has two functions. One, the obvious one, is to borrow $3 million from the Student Nutritional Services Program, put it in the fund to be matched with other money, I'll get to that in a moment, in order to have funding for the building. We do not know what that building is going to cost, but we ought to at least have an idea of what we're willing to spend. Go out and buy a car. Do I need $10,000 or do I need $110,000? Fancy car. Well, remember, Martinez is looking at me like, whoa. So the other function that this serves is, because of the management in this program, and I use the word stellar, I mean it, and the resources that we received from the COVID years, we served our students, their families, other families with nutritional meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner through COVID, and we're still able to do that without deficit spending. The state and federal government provided money, all of that to say there is a surplus of money. The rules for the Student Nutritional Services Program is you may not have cash more than 3 months operating expenditures. Right now, we have $3 million more than we need. You see how nicely those two worked out. Now, if we don't have a plan, which Ms. Pennington has been replacing trucks and lift gates and buying a lot of equipment and ovens for school sites, she's been investing it into her program. But you're going to only replace those so often, and they don't need to be replaced, okay? Because she's been on top of that efficiencies within her kitchens. So we have been working with CDE on how are you going to spend this money, and we approached them. They have a management bulletin that discusses loans from the cafeteria program or the Student Nutritional Services Program, and came up with the loan document that you see attached to this agenda. Our requirements on that is we can borrow the money, and we will not be borrowing more than $3 million because that's their excess. Check one thing off the box, our cash is down below where it needs to be. We'll have $3 million that we can put into the program. Check another thing off our box. How are we going to repay it? We will be repaying it through the revenue that comes in on an annual basis on our RDA funds. That's a redevelopment agency funds. The district has been a part of the Hollister Redevelopment Agency for over 10 years. It started out kind of small, but in the last year, we received $661,000. The year before that, $524,000. The year before that, $78,000. So we are getting a lot of money coming in. It does not, and it has never, gone into the unrestricted general fund. It is going into a reserve fund, and it's been pooling up there. And so at closing, we talked about moving the RDA money from Fund 25, which is developer fees, which it doesn't belong in there, into the reserve. Was one of our conversations at closing. And so we've got about $3 million sitting in there. The revenue will continue to come in. It comes in January of every year. The loan repayment is $342,000. Thank you very much. $775. Yes. That is just short of half of what we received in this last year.
Right.
I structured a cash flow to say, well, what would happen if we received the average of the last 10 years? So going back 10 years, we received $78,000. That's not a lot of money. That evens out that projection. It's not an overly aggressive projection. And so I'm anticipating using that kind of average through 2034. We would receive $442,000 on my projection. It's not a forecast. I don't have a crystal ball. But at $442,000 coming in, and then the interest that's earned on that in that fund, we still have plenty of money to spend $342,775 every year annually in January to pay off this loan. The payment needs to earn an interest that is equal to what it would earn if it just stayed in that fund all along. The interest rates that we have been receiving over the last 5 years are just a hair more than 2%. This last year was a really good year. We received an average of 2.68%. Years before that, it was down well below 1. So again, not being overly aggressive. I don't think the interest rates will be as high this coming year as they were last year. So if our average has been 2 and we are offering 2.5, check another box. We are offering them to repay the loan at an amount at least equal to what they could have if they had that money in their own fund all along.
Right.
So we have satisfied the requirements of CDE. We have not left the program without cash. We have a repayment, we have a loan document, we have interest to be earned, and we have a repayment plan. And at this point, I will entertain any questions or ask the board to approve.
My question is have we decided a place where we're building it, and that hasn't been decided?
We have an idea, but the decision hasn't been made, and that's why it hasn't come to you.
Okay.
And I don't want to jump in front of any conversations the superintendent might have. We are in the, this level of stages in talking about it, and I'm hoping that we can put it where we're thinking, but we have a couple of other options. So
Okay.
I think that conversation with you is a little bit premature.
Yep.
I'm just trying to make sure that we have the funding set aside so that we're ready to go.
But we don't know what the overall cost will
We
be.
do not, but we've established a budget. We've established that this is the amount of money that we can pay, and so we will size the project to fit within the funds that we can afford.
Oh, thanks.
What did you call the $500,000 we get in a year? What is that?
Redevelopment agency funds?
RDA?
RDA. Yes.
And we only started receiving that 10 years ago? I think that's what you said. Is that right?
2008. I probably said 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
looking at my sheet, it's 2008.
And why did it start then? A new law or?
Yes, redevelopment areas in cities have been around for decades.
I thought so. It's not a
Probably
new
around
term.
2008, the state came down and said, you have to give that money back to the state, or you have to give that money back to the members of your RDA. And with that, because you're giving the cities, they're the primary beneficiary of a redevelopment agency.
So where's this money coming from? Is it property taxes
Yes,
or income taxes?
it's a property tax
Property
thing.
taxes.
And potentially lease and rental revenue on whatever properties are in the redevelopment area. I believe the redevelopment area is downtown Hollister.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know, I don't have a map, I've never seen a
Sure,
map, but
sure.
I am anticipating that given the historical nature of that area there, it probably goes out and around and would encompass a lot of our schools. So schools generally are beneficiaries of the RDA.
So on the loan, we've already received $1.5 million. If, I'm just thinking there was a $3 million loan, you said we had 600, 500.
How much have we received over the course of the years?
Well, I was just doing the last 3 years.
Oh, the last 3 years, we've received $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's
In
like $1.5
total?
million, yeah.
In total, 3.7 million.
Yeah, so we can pay that loan.
Yes. And we can pay that loan out of current operating revenue that will be coming in annually.
Right,
You don't have to take it out of some savings account.
right.
Money will be coming in, and part of that will go to pay the loan back.
And then we can use our building funds to build, if it's more than $3 million, we can use our building funds to.
My plan would be to establish the budget, and these are the funds that we have to build a central kitchen. Having said, I really don't know how much it's going to cost. We have to size it. It's just like when I go out and buy a car. I can afford to spend $32,000 on a car. I can't afford to spend $52,000 on a car and hope that I'll have more money. This is a budget just like everything else. Now, Anything can happen by the time we figure out where it's gonna be and have a design and have a contractor. There's a lot of things that can happen, but if we start with a budget and say, this is what we have to spend, we can scale it to fit those needs.
Yeah, it can even be done in phases, I would imagine, just to what are, you set your priorities, what you absolutely need, and then if you have extra money, you can go for
These
a more-
prefab places are incredible,
So I will tell you that our most recent bond, which I believe was M, did include a central kitchen in it. It is in the language for that bond.
Wow.
I am not, at this point, suggesting that we're using bond money to build this, and that's why I'm really stressing that it's coming from two different places. An accumulation of RDA funds and the loan from the Cafeteria Student Nutritional Services Program.
Okay.
If we get to that point where we are actually awarding a bid, we'll talk about more at that time, but our goal is to live within our means, as with everything else that we do in this budget. Know how much we've got, live within our means.
$3 million is a good starting point.
And when you match it with the other 3 million, it's a very good starting point. I think we should have enough money.
Yeah.
But again, it really depends on where it's gonna be placed, what's gonna be required, and what the bid comes in. So we all know that, we've lived through some of those things here in this district.
And knowing that we're building basically a shell, and that Ann Pennington's going to be able to retrofit and outfit the interior with her budget.
And she already has some of that stuff already.
Yeah. Right.
As she gets equipment loans, which she is really good about getting those loans.
These walk-in freezers and refrigerators.
We've already got some of those,
Yeah.
and we have trucks that'll get things from point A to point B.
And also it blesses our staff and increases some jobs. And it
And-
blesses our county.
Fresh food,
Yeah.
fresh produce, locally grown. That's an exciting
It's
thing.
a win for the community.
Yes, big time.
Are there any other questions or comments?
No, this is very creative, this was ingenious to be able to work it and tie it all.
You see Ann next time, you give her the
Yeah,
big
we haven't
thumbs
seen
up.
her, right?
I gotta keep her.
She gets up way too early in the morning.
Ah.
It does.
Yes, make sure breakfast is made, so she gets a pass.
Tell her we missed it.
Will do.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the loan from Student Nutrition
For the central.
earmarked for the central kitchen project funding as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Grist.
Aye.
Trustee Marks.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
I'm an aye, passes 5-0.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beth, thank you for all of that detailed work.
Yeah.
That took a lot of time there.
Okay, 15D, discussion and approval of E-rate.
Trustees,
Hello.
President Trustees, Lieutenant Kip, thank you for having me. I'm here to bring an RFP for E-rate. Specifically, this item D is for network equipment. We're looking to, for the first time, have a failover internet connection. And that'll be done with an item on there that's a cellular gateway. So if our fiber lines cut, spectrum goes down, we'll be able to prioritize our phone systems and 911 calls, the bell talk speakers and horns at the campuses. Making sure that,
Emergency.
yeah, people
That's
might not be able to
important.
access Clever or YouTube, Netflix, but
Mhm,
communication will still happen
mhm.
during that
That's
failover.
important, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that's been kind of worrying in my brain as a
Mhm.
kind of a thing. So we're including that as part of this E-rate.
Yeah, student safety.
Yeah, 100%. And then we're also going to be looking to upgrade our core switches at all the school sites. So those are the routers that sit on the very edge of every school and route all the traffic to those schools. That we haven't upgraded those in about 7 or 8 years, and we've never done it under the E-rate umbrella, which will get us about an 80% discount. So we're really looking at making that happen, and it'll be a part of our dashboard where we monitor all network connections, wireless, all the internal switches. So it'd be nice to not have it be so segregated as we're trying to diagnose what's going on in the network. It'll all be under the same picture, the same layout. So it'll be a huge upgrade for the team. And then we're looking to upgrade some access points as well. Not a huge quantity, but it's the last leg of how we fractured out our access point upgrades. And then all we're doing right now is we're just step one, we're just putting out a proposal and just seeing what comes back. No money yet, just looking to get some answers on what it will cost.
So is this D and E?
So E's a little bit different, but it's the same exact concept. The only thing with E that we're doing different is we're going for battery backups for every switch across the district and for our server room upstairs. So that way phones stay up, the bell clocks stay up, the horns stay up, TVs and stuff, and lights won't work, but we'll get about a 30-minute to an hour window where
Again, it's student safety.
exactly, principals can still communicate with all classes. There's still communication happening and not running door to door.
Right, so this is all about the safety of our kids and our staff.
Exactly. Taking advantage of last year of our 5-year cycle of E-rate and trying to use up that discount that we get.
I'll make a motion that we approve E-rate FY 2025 Cat 2 RFP number 25,4365 2024 IT Tech.
I'm sorry about that. I could have made that easy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, trustee Gris, roll call.
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor? I'm an aye, passes 5-0.
Okay, now I'm gonna make a motion for 15E, which is E-rate FY 2025 CAT2 RFP number 25000436622024 IT11.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Gris?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez? O'Connor? I'm an aye, passes 5-0. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Very much.
15F, discussion and approval to reschedule December board meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we have a need to change the calendar, and I'm going to read some information from this, the rationale behind it. The Board of Trustees meeting calendar that was set in January 2024 to December 2024 included the regular board meeting scheduled on Tuesday, December 10th, which is on our calendar now. However, Board Bylaw 9100 and Ed Code 35143 require that in an election year, which we're in, the annual organizational meeting shall be held on a day within 15 days following the second Friday in December, so sometime within 15 days after December 13th. So that necessitates a move of our regularly scheduled board meeting on December 10th to December 17th. So staff recommends that we revise the Board of Trustees regular meeting calendar to reschedule the December 10th, 2024 meeting to be held instead on December 17th, 2024 to meet the board bylaws and the Ed Code 35143.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve, to reschedule December board meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Gris?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
I'm an aye, passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, board member report. Trustee Gris?
I really don't have a report, but what I would like to say, I want to direct to all of our staff, cabinet, everybody that's here, and people that are home watching. I think it's important that as a board member, that we see the good things that are happening everywhere in our school sites and in our classrooms. And sometimes good behaviors, good strategies, good lesson planning, those things get lost. And maybe it's because I'm a former teacher, but I know the hard work that takes to make those things happen. And so I just really wanted to say thank you. These are things that we need to have. and that people need, this is kind of a tough time, this time till Thanksgiving. And just to say thank you, because I watched one person go above and beyond their duty to make sure that students were safe. And, that took hard work. I mean, it made their work harder, but they made sure that gate was locked. And, it would have been a lot easier just to leave it hanging open, but they didn't. And those kind of extra things that our staff and our teachers, everybody that works at these school sites, and I know you guys work really hard here too, but it makes a difference. And we never could forget that. And I just wanted to say thank you, because I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Trustee Marks?
I got nothing this month.
I just appreciate the way that everybody's working together so well. It's a very cohesive group, and the support that the cabinet has given to Kip as he's taken on the interim superintendent, it just makes my heart proud for the Hollister School District. We could be in trouble, but we're not. Everybody's working together, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I have nothing to report. Is there any future agenda items?
I think we've already established that, haven't we? Yeah. And by the way, we know we make mistakes, so, hello, we won't be making mistakes, including this board member, so,
Any announcements or reminders? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Oh, we're going away. We're going to the
AEC?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when is it?
December.
5th through the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some building to do.
Oh, yeah.
I make a move to adjourn.
Yes, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, adjourning at 7:10.
What an efficient meeting.
Well done, everyone.